Continuing our coverage of WandaVision, we thought now would be a good time to start discussing the potential new additions to the MCU coming out of the show. Assuming you've already finished episode 3 of WandaVision, you probably have more than a few questions about what occurred. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nick, is everything I learned about where babies come from a lie? And the answer is no. You see, dear viewer, when a woman and an android love each other very much, the woman uses her reality manipulation abilities to manifest life into existence and subsequently create herself some children. I mean, we all learn this in sex ed. It's how you and me, and well, everybody was created, and it's the circle of life and a beautiful thing. WandaVision has picked up 2 new cast members this week, Billy and Tommy Maximoff. The 2 children were conceived at the end of episode 2 and birthed during the end of episode 3 over the span of just a few short days. And while these characters may seem at first glance to be inconsequential figments of Wanda's imagination, their comic book counterparts are very real and very similar. So without further ado, today we bring you the comic book history of Billy and Tommy Maximoff, who go on later to become reincarnated as the Young Avengers, Wiccan, and Speed. But first, if you enjoy this content, remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications on all of our videos. It would really help us out. Billy and Tommy Maximoff made their comic book debut in Vision and Scarlet Witch number 12. The Vision and Scarlet Witch run of the mid-1980s is extremely similar to the show and gives a number of pieces of key information and character development to the couple. During this run of comics, Vision and Scarlet Witch decide that they want to have children. However, they both determine that it's impossible due to Vision being an android. However, in issue 3, Wanda and Vision are both discussing their desire for a child when they accidentally stumbled into a hidden town of witches known as New Salem, the same place Wanda's magical tutor, Agatha Harkness, is from. During a showdown with the witch Vertigo, Vision unleashes a tremendous amount of unchanneled magical power. After defeating Vertigo, Wanda attempts to channel and control this energy, but while she's doing that, a vision of her old teacher Agatha appears and tells her to use the power. So it's not entirely clear what happens here, but what is implied is that Wanda does take this magical power, and she uses it to create her own children. The very next issue, Doctor Strange confirms that Wanda is indeed pregnant, and throughout the rest of the run, the two go on a bunch of adventures that frankly, in my opinion, aren't very good, but they help explore the magical side of the Marvel Universe. However, these aren't super critical to the children or their birth. Eventually, in issue 12, both Thomas and William Maximoff are born, unbeknownst to their parents who believe that they were just having one singular child. William is named after Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man, the hero who Vision's consciousness was based upon, and Thomas was named after Phineas Thomas Horton, the man who created the original synthezoid, the Human Torch, whose body did eventually become Vision's body. Next significant event occurs in 1989's West Coast Avengers number 52. The truth of their origin is finally revealed, and it is extremely complicated, or convoluted, whichever term you want to use. We are, as an audience, led to believe that the twins are missing pieces of an Avengers villain named Master Pandemonium's soul. Master Pandemonium was once a movie executive named Martin Preston who nearly died in a car accident, but instead just lost an arm. During the accident, the demon Mephisto appeared and made him a deal, replacing his arms with demonic limbs in exchange for a star-shaped piece of his soul. Now calling himself Master Pandemonium, he went on to retrieve 3 missing pieces of this soul. 2 of those missing pieces were Tommy and Billy Maximoff, who had been channeled into existence by Wanda's powers. Confused yet? Good, because it's going to get worse. Mephisto arrives, and to make things even more confusing, tells everybody that when he was nearly destroyed in a battle against Franklin Richards previously, his own existence was split into 6 pieces. He tricked Master Pandemonium into believing he was missing 5 pieces of his own soul, effectively turning Pandemonium into a soul receptacle. Then, Mephisto let Pandemonium do the legwork of finding the missing soul fragments of Mephisto's own soul for him. The original Human Torch provides the last 2 missing pieces to Pandemonium, who is unexpectedly reabsorbed into the fully repowered Mephisto. Tommy and Billy are essentially erased from existence, and in the shock of it, Agatha Harkness must erase Wanda's memories of them in order to stop Mephisto from regaining his full power, which causes him to be dispersed again. It's revealed that Wanda wanted a family more than anything, but she couldn't have one with Vision, so she suffered what normal humans would call a hysterical or imaginary pregnancy. However, due to her ability to manipulate probabilities, she was able to latch onto pieces of Mephisto's soul and use them to create actual children. Agatha simply closes off that corner of her mind, and Wanda forgets about the children's existence altogether. I hope your brain isn't mush yet, because it gets even crazier. Years later, 2 children are born to actual biological parents. William Billy Kaplan is the eldest of 3 sons born to Jeff Kaplan, a cardiologist, and Rebecca Kaplan, a psychologist. And Thomas Tommy Sheperd was raised in Springfield, New Jersey as the only son of Frank and Mary Sheperd, who are divorced. Both children are reincarnated versions of Billy and Tommy Maximoff, and they're also mutants. Billy's first appearance is Young Avengers number 1, and Tommy's first appearance is Young Avengers number 10. The 2 characters share extremely similar powers to the comic book siblings Wanda and Pietro Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Billy briefly uses the name Asgardian before he settles on the name Wiccan, and Tommy goes by the name Speed. I don't want to go too far into the comic book history of Wiccan and Speed, but just to give you some context on their first and earliest adventures, Wiccan is a part of the Young Avengers team assembled by Iron Lad. Iron Lad is revealed to be a younger version of Kang the Conqueror, who traveled back in time using his advanced technology to prevent his future self from forcing him to become one of the Avengers' greatest villains. Iron Lad downloads Vision's consciousness into his armor, and he uses it to activate an Avengers failsafe program. This program would have allowed Vision to reassemble a new wave of Avengers from the most likely candidates should the Prime Avengers be killed, disbanded, or otherwise incapacitated. The original Young Avengers team consists of Iron Lad, Patriot, Hulkling, and Asgardian. Each member has a significant tie to the main Avengers roster, and it's the team's job to determine what that tie is. However, during the first arc and showdown with Kang, the team also adds Kate Bishop and Cassie Lang. Eventually, the team does clash with the future Kang in order to stop a horrific chain of events from causing irreparable damage to the time stream, but Iron Lad goes back to his original timeline to become the future Kang in order to prevent this. Directly after this, the Young Avengers begin training in secret. Billy, known as the Asgardian, is renamed Wiccan by Kate Bishop in an effort to align his powers with his codename more closely. It's shown in previous battles that, in addition to channeling lightning, Wiccan also has the ability to cast spells and change probabilities. It's also revealed fairly early on within the comics that Wiccan and Hulkling are in a romantic relationship. The team is forced to act in secret, as the main Avengers are worried about the ramifications of a young team of heroes being killed in action. However, that doesn't stop trouble from finding them. They're next attacked by the Super Skrull, who reveals that Hulkling is actually a Skrull. The team is unable to recruit the Avengers to help them deal with the new threat because the Avengers are away on a mission, so they use Vision, which is a new version of Vision made up of Iron Lad's future armor and consciousness, to hunt down more Young Avengers. They find Thomas Sheperd, a speedster. They break him out of a youth detention center for superpowered individuals after finding out that he accidentally vaporized his high school. Upon meeting Wiccan, they determine, hey, we look a lot alike, close enough to be twins. The Super Skrull kidnaps Hulkling and determines that he's the heir to the Skrull Empire, son of Mar-Vell, the original Captain Marvel, and the Princess of the Skrulls. The Kree arrives in order to apprehend Hulkling in order to retrieve him to their forces, but the Super Skrull helps them all escape. Super Skrull, whose real name is Kl'rt, informs Speed and Wiccan that they are indeed reincarnated versions of Scarlet Witch and Vision's children, who were erased due to the events that I outlined before. In order to prevent a massive interstellar war, it's determined that Hulkling must spend half of his year with the Kree and half of his year with the Skrulls. In 1 year's time, he will determine whose side he's allegiant to. However, in a twist, it's also shown that Hulkling actually stays on Earth, and the Super Skrull goes undercover with the Kree, pretending to be him. The new Young Avengers team is formed, comprised of Patriot, acting as the leader, Kate Bishop as Hawkeye, Cassie Lang as Stature, Wiccan and Speed, Hulkling, and Vision. And that is pretty much it for the comic book origins of Billy Kaplan and Tommy Sheperd, aka Tommy and Billy Maximoff. I hope you learned a lot, and if you did, please share this video. It really helps us out with our reach. We would really appreciate it. This has been Nick with Key Issues. Thank you guys for watching the video, and remember the motto, WandaVision over everything.